the shinty on Tulu could accelerate greatly. Advancing further might even be possible. At that moment, tranquility descended upon the Clarence family estate. The air became fresh as if refreshed by gentle breezes and warm sunshine. Alethea also felt her breathing become smoother, the usual fatigue and chest tightness completely gone. Without hesitation, she ran over and supported Otto, asking anxiously, "Elder Giannissi, are you alright?" Feeling Alethea's unconstrained assistance, Otto distinctly sensed the soft yet firm touch, causing his heart to slightly flutter. He smiled and said, "I'm fine, just a bit careless. After all, this is the accumulation of decades. The intensity of this evil chi surpassed my expectations. I've only cracked open one point. It's like a tumor, and now I've just punctured a hole. To truly resolve it, we need to find another way." Just then, the nanny who had been attending to Elroy came out with a delighted expression, shouting, "Mr. Clarence, Miss, Elroy has woken up." The group quickly returned to the room. At this moment, Elroy was already awake, looking much better. As Otto removed the silver needles from him, Elroy laughed and looked around, then said to Alethea, "KC, why are you crying?" Alethea, now tear-streaked, tightly held Elroy's hand, saying, "Drake, I'm not crying. You must have seen wrong. KC, your Asher thought he wouldn't see you again." No, Drake, our Clarence family will be alright." With Alethea's support, Elroy slowly sat up on the nursing bed. After some conversation, when he heard about the 10,000 arrows piercing heart, he said to Alethea, "KC, help me stand up." Standing up, Elroy walked to Otto and deeply bowed, respectfully saying, "Barker, thank you for your help this time." Otto immediately helped Elroy up. He always responded to respect with greater respect. If someone disrespected him, he would be even harsher. "Elroy, don't be too formal. KC and I are friends after all. Resolving this problem is what I should do." Hearing Otto's words, Elroy looked at Alethea and had some thoughts. It seemed that his granddaughter was smitten. Moreover, Otto possessed extraordinary skills. Such a person was worth befriending. Then he smiled and said, "Barker." Otto immediately replied, "Elroy, please don't call me master. KC and I are friends. You can just call me Otto." Alethea also teased, "Drake, calling him master sounds so distant. I just call him Elder Giannis." Laughing heartily, Elroy seemed to tire himself out slightly, scaring Alethea, who hurried to pat his back and scolded, "Drake, why are you so agitated? You just got a little better." Elroy smiled and said, "If my granddaughter has found her ideal match, I'll call you Clarence Settle E. Clarence Settle E, you and KC are of similar age and seem to get along well. How about marrying KC? Don't worry, the Clarence family won't ask for any dowry, and there will be an accompanying dowry of 500 million. Chapter 16. Saving Kale. At these words, Alethea was instantly stunned, her pretty face turning red as she immediately said, "Oh, what are you talking about, Grandpa? Elon, Giannis is already married." "Ah." Old Mr. Clarence was taken aback for a moment, then looked at Otto with an awkward smile and said, "Barker, I'm truly embarrassed. My apologies for being presumptuous. If Otto were to marry Alethea, calling him Jethro would be perfectly fine as they'd be family. But now that he's married, it wouldn't be appropriate to call him so casually." While others could maintain propriety, the old man couldn't help but revert to formalities. Looking at Alethea beside him, old Mr. Clarence sighed in his heart, knowing his granddaughter's character all too well. No man had ever met her standards from childhood, not even the eldest son of Huzhou's top noble family when he expressed his affection towards her. Her reaction now proved that she indeed had feelings for Otto. Otto remained calm and smiled. "It's just a misunderstanding. Ironically, my family introduced me to someone for a blind date. Unbeknownst to us, I approached the wrong person and even got married on paper. Things have been delayed since then. So, there's still a chance for my KC?" Old Mr. Clarence quickly followed up with a chuckle. "Kalence, this is the case. It can be easily resolved. Let's settle this. Whatever the outcome, I respect it. Experience comes with age." With this suggestion, Otto felt cornered. Seeing Alethea's hopeful expression made him somewhat hesitant. Rejecting it might mean losing a friend. Old Mr. Clarence continued, "Actually, being married isn't a big deal. Given our family's status, supporting KC won't be an issue. These days, many people keep mistresses. Of course, if it comes to that, it would be hard on little KC." At this moment, Otto felt his heart racing. He hadn't expected the old man to go to such lengths to retain him. Even mentioning the mistress idea, it almost seemed like he was looking forward to it. As for the Vicky introduced by the old man, Otto simply dismissed her. Fate hadn't brought them together yet. After all, why did she hang up on him? More importantly, missing a blind date showed she wasn't really interested. He laughed and said, "Kaler, how could I say that? Kalister KC is so beautiful and kind. How could it happen?" Alethea laughed back. "Giannissi, what are you saying?" Praising her made Alethea feel somewhat shy. Old Mr. Clarence laughed heartily. "Haha, young people should solve their own problems. However, Barker, no matter if you end up with KC or not, you will always be my family's savior and honored guest." Then, he instructed Pete beside him, "Adhamji, make arrangements immediately to transfer 10 million to Barker as a token of gratitude." Pete also stood up, addressing Otto. "Barker, please take good care of my daughter KC in the future. Sometimes, she can be quite stubborn. Don't mind her." Hearing this, Alethea interjected immediately, "Hey, Grandpa, Colin, what are you doing?" At this moment, Otto's phone rang. Checking the caller, he told Alethea, "Ilium, I wonder if it's about the hospital firing me." Then, Otto answered the call. "Hello, Director Lawrence." Before Otto could speak more, Ilium blurted out, "Xiao Andrew, where are you? Something big has happened. You need to get back to Jiangzhou Hospital immediately." Startled, Otto asked, "Director Lawrence, what happened?" Ilium spoke solemnly. "Do you remember the little girl named Jane whom you treated at the hospital? She's gotten sick again. Her condition is getting weaker. She's being prepared for emergency surgery right now." Hearing this, Otto frowned. This shouldn't happen. He had just performed acupuncture on Khaleesi yesterday, which should last at least 3 to 5 days. There was no reason for her to fall ill so soon. But Ilium continued, "You should come back as soon as possible. I see some people don't have good intentions. If something goes wrong, they'll likely push the blame onto you." Immediately, Alethea stood up. "Giannis, let me drive you there." Old Mr. Clarence pondered for a moment. "Driving will take too long. Use the helicopter instead. I remember the hospital has a helicopter pad. That way, it'll be faster." "Alright, thank you, Kaler Clarence. KC, thank you." After thinking for a moment, Otto agreed. This was indeed the best option. The speed of the helicopter was much faster than a car by at least half an hour. In less than 10 minutes, it had already landed on the helipad of Jiangzhou Hospital. Patients and doctors who were around all watched this scene with interest. At the emergency department of Jiangzhou Hospital, even a stretcher was prepared in advance. Once Otto was spotted, everything came to a halt. Otto jumped off the helicopter and rushed straight to the operating room. At the entrance of the operating room, Khaleesi's grandmother stood anxiously in the corridor, her face etched with worry that filled every wrinkle. Upon seeing Otto, she grabbed him as if he were a lifeline, pleading, "Tenleo Andrew, please save Khaleesi, I beg you." Otto patted her shoulder to assure her not to worry, then hurried into the operating room. At that moment, a group of doctors had already finished their preoperative preparations. Under the operating light, little Khaleesi lay on the surgical table, her small face pale white. Hey, this is the operating room. You can't come in." A sudden commotion broke out, causing all the doctors to stop what they were doing. All those responsible for the surgery were seasoned hands at Jiangzhou Hospital, with the lead surgeon being the director of the neurology department, a prominent figure in the local medical field. Having been in the medical profession for many years, they had never seen anyone actually storm into an operating room before, especially an intern from within the hospital. "Stop, everyone stop," Otto shouted as he stormed into the operating room, quickly rushing to the surgical table and blocking the doctors. "Otto, what are you up to now?" Deputy Director of Emergency Clarence Dagon yelled angrily. Otto sneered and directly pulled off the sterile sheet covering Khaleesi, releasing the head fixation device. He said gravely, "What am I doing? Let me ask you what you plan to do. Are you sure about performing a craniotomy? Do you know where the lesion is? What will you do after opening her skull? Cut out a chunk and be done with it." His words undoubtedly slapped all the doctors present in the face. Being told they were incompetent right there in the operating room, no one could swallow their anger, sparking a wave of discussion. Clarence Dagon, who had long harbored resentment towards Otto, was enraged and grabbed Otto, shouting, "Who do you think you are? Just an intern. You fool around usually, but this is the operating room, a place for the best of the best." Before Clarence Dagon could finish his sentence, Otto struck back with a slap that echoed through the room. Clarence Dagon flew backward from the impact. Otto surveyed the room, looking at the others and said, "Now, all of you get out. If anyone dares to mention surgery, show me proof. Tell me and the family exactly what's wrong inside this little girl's brain that requires surgery. I need to treat her immediately." Jane's condition could not be delayed any further. If her spirit wasn't stabilized soon, she would risk falling into brain death. Khaleesi's wandering soul syndrome was linked to the sacred bird Garuda of the Snowy Plateau, thus connected to the foot Shaoyang gallbladder meridian. Otto used silver needles to seal Khaleesi's Xuanli, Tubin, Shuaigu, Tianchong, Fubai, Tukiaoyan, Wangru, and Binshan acupoints successively. Then, he activated the mystical heaven diagram, channeling a stream of pure yang energy into Khaleesi's body. Chapter 17. Saving Clarence Eves and facing dismissal. The entire sequence of actions took only a few dozen seconds, but Otto was drenched in sweat as if he had just taken a sauna, his face pale as paper. At this moment, he felt somewhat relieved that he had absorbed some of the negative energy at the Clarence family residence, allowing the Shintian Tulu, to automatically refine it into true chi. Without this, he might not have been able to endure. Taking a deep breath, Otto transformed his hand into a palm strike, delivering a slap to Jane's chest. Instantly, her body jolted up, spitting out a mouthful of blood, but then she opened her eyes. Upon seeing Otto, the young girl immediately beamed sweetly. "Big brother, did you save me again?" Otto smiled. "Khaleesi, rest well first. Big brother will visit you in the ward later." With that, Otto gently carried Jane off the operating table and placed her on a stretcher, then proceeded to open the operating room door. At the entrance, Jane's grandmother rushed over anxiously. After giving some instructions, Otto couldn't help but add worriedly, "Grandma, Khaleesi's condition is very complex. Don't let anyone else handle her case. Wait for me to come." Alexis, yes. Grandma agreed repeatedly. Jane's situation was peculiar. Given that he had treated her before, it shouldn't have deteriorated so quickly. There must have been an issue behind her sudden coma. As the patient left, Otto also returned to the operating room. By this time, Clarence Dagon had recovered significantly. Though there were 5 bright red fingerprints on his face, he looked incredibly arrogant. Seeing Otto, Clarence Dagon immediately said, "Otto, you have some guts to barge into the operating room unlicensed and practice medicine illegally. Call the police right away. Arrest him." The commotion in the operating room soon stirred up the entire Jiangzhou hospital. Deputy Director Forster personally led the hospital management and several security guards who stormed in aggressively, with Esau closely following. Upon seeing Forster, Clarence Dagon immediately approached him in a pitiful manner. "Director, please give me justice." Forster was quite pleased with Clarence Dagon's performance. The title, Director, sounded comforting. He asked, "What exactly happened?" Clarence Dagon pointed at Otto. "Director, this guy barged into the operating room, disrupted medical procedures, and even assaulted someone. It's outrageous. Truly outrageous." Esau immediately chimed in. "Otto, you're really pushing your luck. How dare you assault someone? Arrest him immediately and send him to the police station." Besides Esau, interns Eliam, Kavin, and Amina also arrived upon hearing the news. Especially Amina, whose face was filled with concern. Though they were only a fake couple by name, after a few days together, she found that Otto wasn't bad aside from being somewhat talkative. In fact, he could be considered a big-hearted person, offering free consultations multiple times to economically disadvantaged patients during the internship, treating them effectively regardless of the severity of their conditions. Unknowingly, Amina had developed some fondness for this man who had suddenly entered her life. At this moment, what should have been a quiet operating room turned into a bustling marketplace. Forrester appeared serious, but was inwardly delighted. Let the chaos escalate. The bigger the mess, the better. Soon, it wouldn't just be a dismissal. He would go straight to prison. Facing the security guards coming to arrest him, Otto didn't hold back and easily subdued them. Seeing this, Forrester promptly intervened, angrily shouting, "Outrageous! Otto, do you still have any respect for discipline? Any sense of right and wrong? You barged into the operating room, disrupted medical procedures, treated patients recklessly, and now you think you have a valid reason after breaking the law?" Otto chuckled lightly. "Deputy Director Wu, are you blind? Can you show me Jane's medical records? I'd like to ask, Clarence Dagon, what gave you the right to perform a craniotomy on Jane? What evidence do you base this decision on? Did she meet the surgical criteria?" Eliam interjected, "Deputy Director Wu, I have Jane's medical records here. I remember Dr. Andrew performed acupuncture on her earlier. This morning, Clarence and Dagong administered a new treatment,